Hi everyone, it's been overdue. I'm going to do a quick shopping with all of you. Here we go, let's go. It's really important that we eat as much organic as possible. So this is why I selected this particular store so that I can show you how everything is labeled organic. And the reason for that is that there's much more vitamins in organically grown fruits and vegetables. Rutgers University many years ago had done a study, and the difference in the nutrients was so much higher in the organic than the non-organic. And in general, when you're selecting fruits or vegetables, always go with the ones that have more color to them. I'm going to show you an example. So this is organically cut up mangoes, and look at the difference in color. This is a deeper yellow. This is a much paler yellow. So this batch has far more nutrition and taste than the lighter ones. So here's another really good example. Look how green this bunch of celery is compared to this. So this one has a lot more nutrition than the one in the package. And in general, we're trying to avoid plastic. So please try not to buy your veggies in plastic. So I know many of you shop from bulk bins because it's a lot cheaper. But the problem with bulk bins is that because they're exposed and they're open, they're not in a package like that, they've been oxidized. So a lot, like the rice could be rancid, some of the beans could be also affected. Definitely coffee in bulk is not a good idea because the oils in the coffee have been oxidized. You're losing the antioxidants. So as much as possible, this would be an exception where you would look to the packaging to buy your nuts, your beans, your rice, and your coffee. So I know a lot of you drink coconut water because of the electrolytes, but anything that's bottled like this has been overly processed. It's like you're eating chicken nuggets instead of having real chicken. So don't waste your money on buying coconut water that's pre-packaged. It's fine to buy freshly freshly extracted coconut water from a fresh coconut, but don't buy anything that comes in a bottle. So the biggest thing in now are gummies because they're so easy to take your supplements, easy to chew them, and they're tasty. But what you don't want when you're buying gummies is anything with beeswax in it. So that is one of the ingredients that is listed here. And then it also has regular sugar too, which you don't want. So for those of you who are vegetarians and like your tofu, I just wanted to show you the difference. So silken tofu has the least amount of protein in it. This one only has 4 grams of protein and about 3 ounces. Whereas the extra firm or super firm tofu has 14 grams of tofu in the 3 ounces. So if you're looking for a higher protein intake, always go with the super or the extra firm tofu. Even better is if you can find a tempeh. They now have tempeh made with grains and other beans like chickpea tempeh or pumpkin seed tempeh. So those would be even better than buying a soy-based tempeh product. So many of you love your meat and you do not want to give it up, right? So in that case, make sure you're eating really good quality meat. So always make sure it's 100% grass-fed, and even better if you can find grass-finished, which means that they are only eating grass up to the point when they are, slaughtered. So keep that in mind. The other thing is, if you're buying lamb chops, make sure that it's also pasture-fed or grass-fed. And this particular brand is even better because it comes from Australia, and they have stricter rules than we do on, raising cattle. All right, in general, one of the least healthy of all the meats is pork, right? But if you love your bacon, believe it or not, you can have it, but please make sure there is no added sugar, that it is organic, and that the bacon is uncured. Then you could have 3 to 4 slices once a week and still be very healthy. And if you're eating eggs on a regular basis, very important to get pasture-raised eggs, organic eggs, but even better is to get duck eggs because they have a lot more nutrition and they're usually more easily digestible too. So as we head again towards cooler, colder weather, we need more fat in our diet. That helps us to keep warm, and it will also help your immune system. So I do suggest a little bit of butter, real butter. And the brand that I always recommend is the Kerrygold, the Irish butter, but make sure you get it in the gold wrapper, not the silver wrapper. This is much healthier. The other brand that I really like that they do not have here is called Truly Grass-Fed, and that's also from Ireland too. So also in the cooler, colder weather, you can include a little bit of dairy, like feta cheese. Just make sure, please, that it's from goat and sheep milk and not cow milk, because the cow milk will cause a lot of sinus problems and affect your overall immune response. So always stick to goat and sheep. So the only exception to the dairy is that you don't want to have yogurt that's dairy based. Please use coconut yogurt. It's much healthier for the immune system and a lot healthier for your gut. The other issue with dairy is that it interferes with iron absorption. So if you tend to be low iron or run anemic, another reason to go with coconut yogurt. So if you drink coffee every day and you need to put milk in your coffee or cream, I usually recommend either using coconut cream, or if you prefer something lighter than coconut milk, just please make sure that it's unsweetened. And I really don't like this particular brand because it has the guar gum. So it's important to find a coconut milk that has no guar gum in it. So as part of a healthy diet, you should include some healthy carbs. So it's not that all carbs are bad. It depends on what carbs you're eating. So many of you have a gluten sensitivity, so whole wheat is not a good idea, even if it is organic. So what I am going to suggest is to buy chickpea pasta, and this particular brand is really tasty, and it's combined with yellow pea proteins. It's a great consistency too. If you have digestive problems, like gas, bloating, please do not buy cassava pasta, because we are finding out that people are reacting to the cassava and it is causing digestive problems. So as a general rule of thumb, you should stay away from California grown rice because the soil is really high in arsenic, and Consumer Reports had done a study on this a while ago. So one of the reasons why I like this particular rice is because it does come from Thailand. So to have a healthy diet, we should also include beans, whether you're a vegetarian or not. So many of us don't have time to cook beans from scratch because you have to soak them and wait to cook them. It's very time consuming, and I understand that. So what I'm going to suggest is do not buy your beans in cans. Instead, get them in jars. And this is so much healthier because of the glass as opposed to the metal. Rather than buying commercial salad dressing, so much better to make your own salad dressing. And that is when you can use a little bit of the extra virgin organic olive oil. And then I usually recommend combining it with either a really good raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar, or if you're not into apple cider vinegar, then make sure if you get a balsamic vinegar that it's organic. In general, with cooking, we don't want to be using a lot of oils like olive oil or avocado oil for cooking because they're not very stable. They tend to oxidize very easily. So what's more stable in cooking, especially if you're sauteing, is to use a really good quality raw organic coconut oil. But please make sure that it comes in a dark container, not a see-through plastic, because the light will oxidize the coconut oil and make it rancid. So this is not the one to get. And I don't find one in a dark container, so I don't have one here to recommend. But you can go on my website and we have a really good raw coconut oil that you guys can get. If you don't have time to bake and you have to buy your cookies and you want to have some cookies once in a while, it's always best to buy cookies that are made with butter, right? And because you don't want the canola oil or the safflower oil or the sunflower seed oils, because those are damaging to our vascular system, to our brains, and to our overall immune system. One of the healthiest that I've come across is a product called Cocoa Delish Bars, and these are made with an organic coconut oil, so that's even better. So another thing that we all tend to love in the cooler weather is chocolate, and we get cravings for chocolate. So very important when you're buying chocolate, you want to make sure that it's dark chocolate with no milk in it. Minimum cocoa content should be 70%. I do suggest getting a chocolate bar that has either coconut sugar, sweetened with coconut sugar, or with honey, as opposed to regular sugar. Let's take a look at teas, because we're heading into the fall season, which is a time where we want hot, warm drinks because they're comforting. Many of us think that echinacea is very healthy for the immune system, but unfortunately, it actually overstimulates your immune system. So it's not a tea to drink on a regular basis. What you can drink instead, which would be so much better, and you can have it every day, is the turmeric and ginger tea. And that's great for your immune system. It's great for reducing inflammation. You'll feel a lot healthier with that. So the last thing we're going to wrap up with is talking about hydration. So you all know how critical it is to drink water. We must include half our body weight and water intake. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that's 75 ounces of water a day. But please make sure that you don't buy water in plastic bottles. Okay, because we know that the plastic is really toxic for not only our body, but also for the brain especially. So my favorite bottled glass water is Hana, that comes from Italy, and then upstate New York is the Saratoga.